How's it going, you guys? Um, Today I'm going to do my impressions so far on Dragon Ball Super. I think after the most recent episode, episode 5, I thought it was a good time or a good point to discuss it because, unlike most YouTubers, I don't like to output a bunch of videos that don't really discuss much. I feel a lot of YouTubers repeat what they say. Um, so, I don't know. It just feels like the video that they make is pointless because they don't really cover too much ground. They say too much. They repeat themselves a lot. So I feel as though I should periodically give my thoughts on like updates or something like that. Okay. So my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super. Um, the first episode I really liked. Um, I like how they did the whole lighthearted approach. The whole story. Honestly, though, before I even get into like the episodes themselves, the concept of Super sounds cool, like a new series, but the timeline placement that they chose is just very awkward to me. Like, okay, let's say for instance, Akira Toriyama himself confirmed that Dragon Ball GT is canon or not canon. If he confirmed it was not canon, which he hasn't done yet because they don't discuss that sort of thing um, overseas. Um, let's say you were to discuss that, say that it wasn't canon, and this goes for Battle of Gods and Fukatsu no F as well. I honestly feel as though he should have just started the story after with this whole introduction of gods and God Ki and all these other elements, Jocko and all this other stuff being introduced before the end of Z. It's just really awkward. It really makes it seem as though they might rewrite the ending of Z, which uh, if they do that, then I'm not going to consider anything. I mean, I'm not even going to use the word canon anymore because if you rewrite the manga ending, which is the tip top of canon, if you want to go by that, then it's just everything becomes weird. So Dragon Ball Super, already before they even released the first episode, I did not agree with the timeline placement. I knew ahead of time when they showed that Goten and Trunks were still the same age. I wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna approve of that, or I wasn't gonna agree with that. But I'm still gonna love the series nonetheless. Okay, so that's my thought. Um, so the first episode, like I said, I liked the lighthearted approach. That was pretty cool. I like the concept of the episode. I really get tired of people complaining about the lack of action so far, except for episode 5, of course. Um, when you've got to understand that a story has build up. There's also a lot of people who haven't seen Dragon Ball, who are like young Japanese kids, have never seen Dragon Ball probably, and this is their first time seeing it, unless they've watched Kai. Um, so yeah, like I also think Dragon Ball Z it always gets stereotyped as a bunch of like just nonstop action when it's never been that. It has been a lot of action, but it's never been like nonstop. The first few episodes of Dragon Ball were very chill. Like the series itself, when it first started off, was supposed to be a gag, comedy type of show. Um, and Dragon Ball Z, the first few episodes, even though we got the reveal of Raditz very early, the first few episodes were a little toned down, and then they went to the fight. I think in episode 3, I think the fight was. But you gotta understand that in Japan, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball are the same thing, so the pacing for that is a little different. And we'll take something a little closer. For instance, I know some people won't like this comparison, but Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Super are very, I'd say, alike in terms of there is no original Akira Toriyama manga for it. So everything that is being animated is like original, you know. Um, so if we go off of GT, for instance, GT, its first few episodes needed a little build up. I honestly preferred the pacing of GT compared to the other series because since there is no manga for GT, the pacing could be less slow. More normal. I'd say that GT had normal pacing. More things were occurring in the episode. Things were building up. Things were going on and processing, which is why it was only 64 episodes. Other than the fact of his ratings. Okay, back to Super. With that being said, I like the pacing of Super. I like the feel of something. It's new, but at the same time, it isn't. Well, like part of it makes you feel that Dragon Ball nostalgia with the reintroduction of characters in their prime. Because I'd say that Buu Saga was Dragon Ball Z's prime. You know, like some people would argue Frieza Saga, but I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, like the end. Like this is what you would rather have. You wouldn't make a series off of Frieza. Okay, I'm going on a tangent, but you get what I mean. Like all these characters don't really look all that different. You know, it's what you remember because a lot of people didn't watch GT, so the last thing they left off of was Z or Battle of Gods. So a lot of the characters are still familiar. Um, okay, episodes. Sorry. Um, the first episode I think out of the five is by far my favorite so far. I honestly, the most controversial thing about Dragon Ball Super to me and to a lot of fans is that it's retconning or rewriting the script of Battle of Gods and Fukatsu no F. So a lot of what we're watching is yes, it's something we already know, it's something we've already watched technically, but there are changes, there are alterations, such as it was like episode five for instance. We take episode five by far the worst episode of all of them. Um, we take that for instance. There's differences such as Goku fighting Beerus in his Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 forms instead of just 3. You know, little things like that. I know with the party, Bulma's birthday party is going to be on a ship this time, which they've already showed in the recent episode. Um, Dragon Ball episode 4, I think, was just, if I remember, it was just training. Because honestly, the first two episodes piqued my interest compared to the other ones. Like, I enjoyed every episode and to a certain degree, but 1 and 2 honestly piqued my interest the most with its original, like, family-oriented story. Especially with Vegeta going out shopping and trying, you know, to be there for his family. You know, that kind of thing really interests me, and it was interesting to see him in that scenario. Um, Going towards the whole beer stuff, like one thing I will give Dragon Ball Super over Battle of Gods is this build up of Beerus and Whis. Um, in Battle of Gods, we were told of Beerus. We saw Beerus on the first 5 minutes of the movie, and already he's like stronger than everybody else, or so we're led to believe. And there's no build up, you know, until we see him defeat Goku. Um, but with Dragon Ball Super, we get like a build up. You know, he destroys the that one planet, he flicks it in half, and then he does that little glitter of a key blast. Um, so yeah, we're getting more build up, even though it felt slower compared to the movie. That's what we're comparing it to. But in the end, it still feels very similar. And so, like somebody like me who has seen Battle of Gods a countless amount of times, it ruins the enjoyment. Like I'm still enjoying it, but I'm like, yeah, that's I know that, you know, whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping that this arc goes by a little bit quicker, unless they make more alterations. Like if they make more changes, then I'm like, okay, that's interesting, you know. Because I honestly do feel that Battle of Gods had a lot of inconsistencies and issues and plot holes that were just open, like you couldn't ignore them. So I'm glad that they're fixing that, especially with the whole timeline placement. That's one thing I will give Super, is the timeline placement is a lot more correct to me because of the aging processes and the lack of Bulla in Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. This is a lot better. And but it's weird that Gohan and Videl are married when, if I recall, they were like 17 years old. But hey, whatever. They know better, right? The animators and the team know better. Akira Toriyama knows better. Um, but I'm enjoying it so far. I gotta say though, when I first watched the first few episodes of Dragon Ball Super, I really liked the animation. But episode 5, everybody online is going crazy about episode 5, and with good reason. Like the animation was garbage. It was absolute garbage. I really hope that, I know Toei Animation does this with a lot of series, like One Piece, for instance, has very inconsistent animation, and you know Dragon Ball is no stranger to that. We have seen this in Z, we have seen this in Dragon Ball, and of course in GT. GT, even though it had better pacing than the other series, it actually, the animation errors or animation inconsistencies were noticed. Like one episode, Super Saiyan 4 Goku will look really, really off model, and then the next one he'll look perfect. I really, whatever animator is doing the bad animation, just fire him. Like, what are you doing? Like, that was a key integral part that we all remember from the very first part of Battle of Gods that made us think, oh my God, Beerus is something. Like that was his character defining moment when he defeated Goku with the flick and then the Chatin to the neck. I'm like, and then they ruin it. They ruin the animation. Everybody just looks really off model, and it's honestly it's easy to ruin Beerus's character design because I've seen sometimes when I watch Beerus, and I think he could look like a bunny, and when I was watching this episode, he looked like a bunny during the fight sequence. Honestly, I really hope they don't do this with the whole Super Saiyan God versus Beerus fight, because if they do, it will turn people off. Like a lot of people were turned off when they were watching this episode, and if they do that to that specific, because that's a very important part. Even though it's just a fight, it's important to the story nonetheless. And Super Saiyan God, we have not seen a 1993 version of Super Saiyan God. We've seen a 1993 version, a 1990 version of Super Saiyan, But if we see Super Saiyan God, I honestly think uh, that the transformation of Super Saiyan God, at first when I didn't like it, but then when I saw it in the movie, it was pretty awesome because of the animation. I think if it was in the 90s, it wouldn't look as cool. And if they mess up the animation for Super Saiyan God, I'm gonna be so sad. I'm gonna be really depressed. No, I'm gonna be upset, but I'm not gonna be depressed. But yeah, that's just the only thing that's killing me, other than the retconning, because I honestly, the retconning of the Dragon Ball plot confuses a lot of people because, unlike some fan bases of anime, we're really hardcore when it comes to these discussions of what's canon, what's not canon, what matters, what really counts. When for years I wasn't really thinking about that until people were shoving it in my face in YouTube comments and stuff like that. But like movie characters and stuff, like when I was younger, I just thought the movie characters, they were part of the Dragon Ball universe, but they couldn't really fit in the story. Um, so yeah, those are the only two problems I'm having was Dragon Ball Super episode 5 animation, and the whole retconning thing. Because honestly, for all of us, I think majority of Dragon Ball fans, and if you're watching Dragon Ball Super, even though some kids in Japan may have never seen Dragon Ball series, there is a high possibility you have seen that, or at least Battle of Gods or Fukatsu no F, because of how popular they still are, like their ratings and stuff. Um, so yeah, like when I watched the first few episodes, I'm like, okay, this is cool. We've all been asking for a new series, so this is what we're getting. What are we supposed to expect? I honestly think they could have chosen a different route. Could have chosen after Resurrection F. But when I watched Resurrection F and Battle of Gods, I did notice that the timeline placement would be really, really, really messed up. So I guess retconning it or redoing it's better. It gives better build up. Even though like the Frieza arc, I really don't know how they're gonna do that because the Frieza arc was literally done. Well, let's not count the first part of the resurrection of Frieza where he gets revived and says he's gonna go train. The day where it's the fight, I'd say it's only like a few hours. It's only a few hours. Like it, if they make it an arc, I honestly think they're gonna have to expand it where they show Frieza training. I would like to see Frieza train because he said he's never trained. We've never seen any of the villains really train. Honestly, in the Dragon Ball series, we never get that perspective, which I think we should get. That other anime do get. Um, that Dragon Ball doesn't get. So I would like to see that. Um, in regards to Champa and the female Whis, because she still doesn't have a name, I think it's interesting. I honestly think that this is the approach that they were originally going to take anyway after Battle of Gods when they mentioned, the 12 universes. So this to me was a no-brainer that the whole Universe 6 arc was going to be in existence, like a thing. So that one, I think everybody can agree that they're going to look forward to that more because that'll be the new stuff. Like, sure, these few episodes have had some new stuff, but it's still going to the Battle of God stuff. But yeah, those are my thoughts. On so far on the first 5 episodes, I can't discuss a lot of things because I don't like to be that YouTuber that dissects every single thing that is said. Like, if I were to sit here and make a video about Whis saying that he's the strongest, that's gonna be pointless, you know. But yeah, those are my thoughts. You guys tell me what you think. See you later.